What's up, folks? Power Sports Steve coming to you today from Extreme Power Sports, Opelika, Alabama. Today we have the new Suzuki Vstrom 800DE adventure bike. Folks, let me just say I just rode this bike down the road. I have owned in my lifetime 5 Vstroms, 3 650s, 2 1000s, pretty much every generation of these bikes made. I have not ridden the new 1050, but my service manager just got a new 1050, and I'll probably ride it hopefully one of these days and give you a little feeling feedback as we're looking for about the 1050. But folks, this 800 is the bee's knees. Look at this thing. I mean, look. Hang on. Let me change my screen. There we go. Look at this bike, guys. This is obviously the gray. This is not the adventure model. I know I said DE adventure bike. I mean adventure style bike. The Adventure, of course, has the bags and all on it. This one does not come with the bags. This bike is beautiful. Suzuki has just knocked it out of the ballpark, and I'll talk to you in a minute about why. But look at this thing. Check out the headlights. Of course, it's got the beak. Everybody kind of likes to laugh about Suzuki's beak because they're trying to look like a Beamer or whatever, but it's kind of getting to be a trademark of theirs. Finally changed up the headlights, though. Super cool. All right, so a couple things about this bike. First off, the motor. It's all new parallel twin motor. Suzuki's been running the 650 V twin for almost 20 years? Not quite 20 years, but almost 20 years. Awesome bike. Every year, every generation of the Vstrom 650 has just gotten better. I mean, every single year. It definitely feels a little dated in the 650. It's hard to describe. Suspension's not as good, and it's kind of like you're more sitting on the bike, or in the bike, excuse me, versus sitting kind of more up on the bike in more of an attack position. But this bike doesn't have the attack position, but it just feels that way. The ergonomics are absolutely spot on. I cannot tell you how good this feels. And maybe I'm a little biased because I've been riding a lot of touring bikes lately for whatever reason. I haven't been on one of these bikes for, I don't know, a few months anyway. But, I mean, the handlebars, the seat, the foot pegs, the ergonomics are just freaking perfect on this bike. It feels almost more like a big supermoto or a kind of a standard type bike rather than an adventure bike. I mean, y'all got to ride one. That's all there is to it. If you're in the area, come ride this thing. I mean, you ride it, you're going to want it. The suspension is daylight and dark compared to the 650. You actually have some suspension. The 650 did okay, and let me tell you about okay, folks. I have ridden a 650. I don't know what the year was. My wife and I took a ride, but my wife and I loaded up a 650, all the panniers, all the skid plates, the crash bars, all the things, and rode it 2 up from Alabama all the way to Nova Scotia and back. It was exactly 4,321 miles in 9 days that we rode. One of the best trips of my life. I won't even talk about that, but anyway, it was a fantastic trip. Folks, it did great. With that said, this bike would knock it out of the ballpark. The suspension, I mean, you got the upgraded inverted forks with actual adjustment settings, which is daylight and dark over the 650. I mean, so much better. With the rotors have been upgraded. You got the nice twin rotor on the front. Comes with a little factory skid plate on it as well. Not a heavy duty, metal skid plates, just plastic. But that, folks, that's going to take care of most people. I am the guy that when I buy a bike like this, I put everything on it. The metal skid plate, the crash bars, the panniers, the rear rack, all the things. I mean, Happy Trails should send me some free stuff. By the way, that's a shout out to Happy Trails. If you're watching this video, I've spent thousands of dollars with you guys. So just FYI. If you don't know what Happy Trails are, it's a company that sells Basically, all kinds of stuff for adventure bikes. Check them out on the web. Let's see, what do we want to talk about? I mean, 21-inch wheel. I think I mentioned that. I mentioned the forks. I mean, look at the foot pegs, guys. I mean, I know this sounds silly, but look at the foot pegs. Finally, somebody has a brain and has changed the rubber. So you want rubber on here because it helps dampen any kind of vibration. Which, by the way, almost zero vibration in this bike. But you have these little cutouts or grips for your feet. So if you're riding an adventure bike, you may get some dirt roads, gravel, mud, etc. And this is going to help you keep your foot on the pegs. Super, super cool. Comes with the hand guards on it as well. Adjustable windscreen. When I say adjustable, you've got a couple different positions you can put this in. Not anything super fancy. Kind of, I wish they'd go back to like the 14, that generation of 1000, where it had the windscreen that kind of tilted. That'd be a lot better. I don't know why they got away from that, but they did. I'm just giving you a close-up look. Of course, you got your adjustment for the rear shock on here if you're going to load up with the luggage or two up. Changed. Finally, Suzuki has gotten rid of the 1980s blinkers, gone to the nice, sharp-looking LED type stalks. Exhaust looks good, nothing super fancy there. Of course, you got your disc on the brake on the back. Doesn't have quite the fancy rotor like the front, but it gets the job done nonetheless. Of course, the bike has ABS. And speaking of ABS, while we talk about that, we're going to go ahead and flip on the key switch here. And speaking of, look at that. Full TFT display. I mean, this thing is sharp. And it still has the little plastic covering from the factory. We haven't even taken that off yet because we want to save that for the customer. And you'll see, like I said, I can just get off this bike. You can see I've turned off the traction control. Of course, we're in A mode, and ABS defaults to 1. Even though you turn that off, it defaults back to 1, just FYI. Of course, you got your traction control indicator, oil indicator, gear indicator here, neutral here. I don't know why we need 2, but we have 2. Of course, quick shift, shift light, all that kind of good stuff can be set into your manual, or in your manual, gee whiz, into your main settings. Speedometer, tachometer, of course your trip meter, your temp gauge, your ambient temperature, all that kind of fun stuff. And you can just toggle right here on the handlebar. Toggle between your trip, your miles per gallon, your estimated range that you have left on your tank of fuel. And guys, I'm right out here in the middle of the road almost. There's cars driving by, so if it sounds like I kind of get muffled, and that's probably why. Also have your fuel gauge. So a lot of people always want the fuel gauge. Want to know where you're at. Total odometer, voltage output, back to trip. So when you hit the mode button here, it's going to highlight your top screen. So it's going to toggle between your traction control, your Suzuki drive mode, and of course your ABS. And you can just go boom, 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 change the level of traction control, click it again, change what mode, what map you want to be in. And then you can change your level of ABS as well. There we go. Super cool. Of course, Suzuki still has the same pass light, bright light, same blinker switch, horn. Hazards are new, kind of a cool. They've actually changed this right side quite a bit compared to previous models. But hazards, and then your nice kill switch on here, and we're just gonna hit it. Woo! Listen to that puppy purr. It sounds like a V-Strom. I hate to say it, but that's a V-Strom sound. How they got the exact same sound out of going from a V-twin to a parallel twin, I don't really know, but it really does sound like a V-Strom. I know that's funny, but it does. Let me give it a little bit of gas. There we go. I want to kill it. One thing I noticed when I was riding, and of course this bike's brand new, so I'm not hammering on this bike. I'm not, tacking it out, running it hard. That's up to somebody else to do when they purchase this bike, because I am not purchasing this bike. So I would never do that. I did give it a little bit of gas. It seems like it doesn't want to rev quite as freely as the V-twin, which is ironic because typically the parallel bikes seem to rev out a little bit more than the twins, or the V-twins. But it's probably because it's just super tight tolerances. Needs to be broken in a little bit. I'm assuming, so I bet this bike runs a lot different, another 10,000 miles. I would bet. I could be wrong, but I would bet that it does. But I mean, I'm gonna give a walk around again. I mean, this thing is just ah, I wish I was in the market to buy one right now. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna pull this back off right here. Look at that USB port. That is amazing. Hook up for your power, etc. And this bike is anything like all the old V-Stroms. There's going to be wires pre-ran front and back to hook up your electronical, I don't know what electronical means, but electronic goodies. I mean, it's just beautiful. I know I keep saying that, but guys, I'm telling you, I'm just amazed. If you like this kind of bike, and I know the BMWs and the KTMs and Triumphs and all the different brands out there are building adventure bikes, even that crazy Harley brand. But for the money, I mean, you just can't go wrong with a V-Strom, guys and girls. I mean, you would be doing yourself an injustice by not looking at one of these bikes. This is why I've owned 5. Every time I think, oh, I'm going to go buy a Beamer, or I'm going to go buy the KTM Adventure, or, whatever, look at a Triumph, a Tiger. Every single time I have said it's time to buy an adventure bike and I'm going to do that, I come back to Suzuki. No kidding, I really do. For the money and for what you get, you just can't beat these bikes. You really can't. Anyway, hope you liked the video. Do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe. We need the subscribers. We're gonna be doing many more videos, guys. I mean, I want to do a video on everything. Everything. I don't have the time to do that. Unfortunately, I do work for a living, and this is just something I do extra here at the dealership. But if there's something you want to see, let us know. We will get to it eventually, I promise. But I really hope you would subscribe. If you have any questions, please let us know. Be happy to reach out to you. And thanks for watching. Take care.